Hello and welcome to the Results with Ronnie podcast series, MrRelationship.com. I am Ronnie Walker, your master coach of exceptional relationships, dating, and sex. And before I get started, I want to remind you that as you listen to this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that when we do drop new podcasts, you're on point to receive them in a timely manner. So, what do we talk about today? Well, first of all, we're going to talk about our sponsor today, which is Balance with Dr. J, a YouTube channel that talks about any and everything relationships as well. There's the spirituality involved in that, with a lot of great guests, book writers, and just a lot of great information. And also, our newest sponsor, Dating Discussions with Ronnie and Yashika. So I decided to go into this today because the discussion is, how are you showing up in your dating and relationships? And I was inspired to go over this because I was corrected in a way that I was doing some marketing for one of my podcasts. And to be honest, I could have done a lot better job in doing so. And I bring this up because, see, I expected exceptional results without putting exceptional effort. And I'm grateful that I was corrected by someone I consider a very powerful business coach who saw my post and checked me on it. It was very clear, and not in a way that was demeaning or, coming at me in a very, bad way, but just letting me know that, you have to show up the way you expect to be received. And I thought about that because, even though when I did the post, I was extremely tired. It was a long day, and I just wanted to just get it done. The podcast's been having some challenges with the electronics and things of this nature. However, I was just happy to get it up. However, that's not an excuse to do half-assed work for anything. And so, rightfully so, I was checked on it. Now, he spoke to me directly about it through the text. However, then there was a later show about it, just a morning go over it, and using that as a lesson for others. And I thought that was powerful, and it was something that I needed, because if there's anything that you hear from me, I'm always talking about constantly growing, and don't think that, I have all the answers or I'm the end all be all. I understand there are many places that a person can go to get the information that I have, although I do believe I bring in a way that is unlike many others. So that's why I implore you to listen to me and what I share and the years of experience that I bring to this, because of the work that I've done on myself first and foremost. So again, there's no way I was going to get the results I expected because I didn't show up in that way. And I'm thankful for that lesson. I really need to be reminded of that. So they know who they are, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. And after that, the response was great. So it worked, because I made the proper correction. I didn't take it personal. I understood that they wanted the best for me. And so I received the message accordingly, pivoted, corrected, and now I'm getting results that I intended to get. I was very intentional in that. So this is something that I hope that many of you will take to heart as I share this in how are you showing up in your dating and relationships. Because this is something that it's very unfortunate, but let me just lay this on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, A lot of you all are coming with a sense of entitlement that's really truly destroying your opportunities and chances to meet the one that you so claim that you deserve. Now, again, many of you take the position to say, hey, Ronnie, I am me. I am my own person. I'm not obligated to do this. I'm not obligated to do that. And you know what? You aren't obligated to do a damn thing. But why waste your time doing it if you're not going to do it with intention, if you're not going to do it authentically? It still amazes me how many, even after all of these years of doing this, how many men and women come in with the expectation of everything going only your way or the highway. Now, technically, yeah, you can say, all right, listen, this is what I'm looking for, and they can't meet that, whatever. However, what's happening is that you all are going to people you know good and damn well that you're not meeting their needs, their standards, their list, whatever you choose to call it. And then you're shaming, guilting, getting pissed at them, taking this scorched earth approach as to why they don't take you just how you want to be, which again is your power and your right to be however you want to be. But I'll give you an example. How many times have you heard this, ladies and gentlemen? What do you bring to the table? Now, it's gotten to a point where people hate hearing that question. And I'm asking, well, why? Again, you go for a job interview. They want to know what you're bringing to the table of the employer. What are you bringing? What are your qualifications? You want to go to a particular school? Well, then, what are you bringing? What grades? You can still have great grades, but if you have a bad attitude, they're still going to kick your ass out. And if you're lucky, you may get your tuition back. But again, when it comes to connecting with the person that you want in your life for the rest of your life, everybody has this, I don't care how anybody chooses to take me, this is just what this is. All right, that again, your choice. It's your choice. But then when they're not getting the results they want, then it's everybody else's fault with them. Because it has absolutely nothing to do with you. And you know what? That may be the case one time. Want what you want. Desire what you desire. But be real honest with yourself and only yourself when you're trying to analyze the reasons you're not getting the results that you're looking for. The possibility of it happening and the probability of it happening. But the entitlement for men and women is off the damn Richter scale. It can be aggravating. You have whole dating coaches, men and women, that are walking away from women because their expectations are unrealistic. And then you'll have women doubling down. So when you hear things like, what are you bringing to the table? And then you give a response like, I am the table. Okay. And then I ask them, okay, so what kind of table are you? Are you maple, oak, stainless steel, cast iron? What kind of table are you? They never think of that. And then I say, okay, well, great. You bring the table. You are the table. Let me ask you this. Did they ask for a damn table? Now, to the men, I say, men, instead of asking what you bring to the table, why don't you tell them what you're looking for? Save all this back and forth. Say, I am ABC. My age is this. I'm looking for 1 child, 2 child, no children. I'm looking for a woman who does A, B, C, D, E. And this is why. And at this point, they can decide whether, if they're being honest with themselves, if they meet that standard for you. And if not, there's no need to go forward with a date or further the conversation. But everybody is up here trying to one up each other in terms of who they are and what they are, and what they bring. And I don't care about the question, and this old back and forth and this chest pounding. Women operating in masculine energy. And yes, ladies, there's far too many of you with that nonsense, and it needs to end. There are men out there clearly communicating that they want a woman in her feminine essence, and you are hell-bent on trying to get these men to accept you in your masculine space, and it's not gonna happen. But don't sit here in the same breath say this is what you're looking for in a man, but then beating a man up verbally or any other way because you're not meeting his, or the fact that you feel you don't have to. And there are platforms on all across. I don't care if it's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, there are blogs with women with this very, very selfish, entitled attitude. Everything is the man's fault. You want no accountability. You don't feel you should be asked any questions. You feel that you don't have to qualify for a damn thing. You should just show up. Now, as I've often said, that there are a few voices that somehow could make it seem as though it's the majority of voices. And I still stand by that. However, even a small voice can be in connection with 2, 3, 4, 5, 10,000 people that is following them. And that could have a very wide-ranging effect if these people really truly do follow this person. Now, we can go back and forth to what, who am I to say what someone should or should not want? And I'm saying you don't have to listen to a damn thing that I'm saying. All I'm saying, however, is don't focus no more so on me than it is just listen to what I'm sharing with you. Because the truth is that there are hundreds, and I would dare say thousands, of counselors, therapists, pastors, and coaches who align with what I'm saying. At some point, it's not the other people. It's not the other person. It's not the other gender. Gentlemen, make it known what you're looking for. And sometimes she is not going to be the one that you're looking for, no matter how many times you say to yourself how incredible she looks and how intelligent she speaks. If there are things that she's not going to do that you'd like her to do and be a part of, then you just have to cut your losses. She's an incredible woman, but she's not the incredible woman for you. And you have to have it in your mindset that if there's one like her, there's another one that's even more in line with what you are looking for. And so, yes, patience is a virtue in this space. I wish I could wave a wand and say, hey, you great women get with these great men and we would all be at peace. But it's gotten so bad where you have men and women that before they would do everything to look inside themselves, they want to blame everybody, the circumstances, the whatever's going on currently politically, and just men, or blaming women or their girlfriends. And it's just, no, sometimes it's just you. But some of you, before you even say, you know what, I acknowledge that I have to take some time, what you do is then you opt out of the whole dating space. You opt out of the whole dating space. And then you get into this whole self-love or you're going to rebel against any and everything dating. But now, even in that time, many of you don't do any work on yourself. You do a few girls trips, guy trips. You go party, you buy yourself some stuff, quote unquote, retail therapy. And then you end right back up into a space where now holidays come, birthdays come. And then you're wondering why you're still alone. There's so many single men and women who want you to believe that they're so damn happy, and really they're just cowards because they don't want to do the work that is needed to get themselves in a proper mindset and the proper heart space to meet who they are trying to meet. And if you learn anything from what I'm telling you, is that you have to put in the work, and there's no getting around that. There's no microwavable, there is no magic sentence, there's no tight dress, there's no fancy car, there is no bankroll. All that external BS that so many men and women are chasing after, instead of doing the internal work. So whether it's coaching, therapy, counseling, whatever it may be, along with prayer, that a lot of you are avoiding to do. But then you want the world to believe that you're happy. At least no one's cheating on me. As if there aren't any healthy relationships going on out there. And you know there are. So if you want to do some homework, find out what the healthy relationships, but I've also learned that many of you don't have a model of what a healthy relationship is. See, this is why coaching is important. This is why therapy is important. Because a lot of you are in spaces that you're repeating very, very harmful patterns. I guess the current word is toxic. And you think anything masculinity is toxic. No. Toxicity is just something that happens to both men and women. I didn't know it had a gender. But again, then you're getting these messages from all these people who you can tell from what they share, they haven't sought the help within themselves. So then you opt out. You want nothing to do with men. You want nothing to do with women, when really, deep down, that's what you want. And why do I know that? How do I know that? Because I'm the one who receives these calls. And I truly feel for these men and women. There's so many places that I've gone and I listen to and I read, and I can really truly hear the pain and the loneliness in their voice. But I also know that if you're not ready, it doesn't matter what Ronnie Walker has to say, or I can share with you, or introduce you to, because it's not going to serve your purpose anyhow. So until you get to a space where you need to step out of that comfort zone that you've created for yourself and get back out in there, then, I do wish you happiness in your singleness. But see, I will stand 10 toes deep to say, look, I truly believe we were to be interdependent. We were created to be in relationships and connections. Anyone can tell you, if they know me, I love my own company. I can take a trip from here to Timbuktu, the farthest regions of the world, and be happy for a while. I have no problem jumping on a plane, train, bus, walk, motorcycle ride by myself. But as happy as I am in those times, I can tell you I've been just as happy and just as free in a relationship with an incredible woman. And so these are those things that we have to keep in mind. You live your life how you choose to live it. But if there's anything that I'm sharing with you, is that just be honest about it. Some of you are. You say, look, Ronnie, I do want somebody. And I have opted out. But right now, there's some things I haven't addressed and I need to work on before I put myself back out there. Kudos to you. I've got guys telling me, hey, Ron, you know what? There were some traumas that I had growing up. And because of that, I'm not looking at women in a way that's healthy. And it reflected itself in the relationships that I had. Kudos to you, my brother. Wishing you well on this journey. And if there's anything that I can share with you that can help you along that way, reach out to me. There are far too many in relationships that are now on autopilot, and then you wonder why it's dying a slow, painful death. But yet, you're expecting the other person to put in the work to revive it. So by the time you get to me, the first question I'm asking, okay, so since you've established that this person isn't doing anything, what are you doing? I get silence. Why? Well, there's two people in this relationship, and yeah, it takes two. But so far, you've only told me about one person. That's the other person. What are you doing? Yes, I'm very hard and direct with men because, I'm not like brothers, as leaders in this space, we need to show up. If it's flowers, reading a poem, if it's date night, far too many relationships are on a pilot. And if you really haven't set the course to growth, then it's going to die. So many people in the dating space, they only want the other person to do all the calling. They don't feel they should have to pick up the phone. I need him to prove I'm the only one. And all of these crazy tests people make up for the other person. And the other person is up here going, they're confused. Is she into me? Is he into me? What's going on? And then you have a section of people expecting them to read minds, or worse, read between the lines. And instead of just saying, what the hell is on your mind? How are you showing up in your dating? Some of you are not showing up in the way you should. But of course, you don't feel you need to learn anything because, of course, if this one doesn't work out, you have a whole group, 200, 300, 400 men in your inbox willing to spend some time with you. And so you get your dopamine rush, adrenaline rush. You feel like on top of the world. And meanwhile, time is ticking by. So that quality man you felt you have met, chances are, especially if you're over a certain age. You just fail to culture a healthy communication with this person because you're too busy trying to test the hell out of this person. I say this to men all the time that create these tests. What the hell are you? What is this? Far too many of us are entitled. We're too busy talking about what we're not obligated to do, what I don't have to do. Knowing that anything worth achieving, you have to work for. But a lot of you will sit here and argue with me. But then when we roll back the videotape and the conversations that you have or the lack of such conversations, here you are. The truth bears out. It's not another person. This person is working themselves to the bone to try to get some sort of pulse out of you. Or then you want to text each other to death. What the hell is that? Instead of picking up the damn phone. I've said this for years. Do you know how many calls I receive from men and women complaining about them not having their calls answered? But then, if they reply to certain texts, and based on the state that the person receives it in, they take it all the way left. I mean, you see videos on TikTok talking about that same thing. There's memes about it. We've got to just such an I don't want to, or I shouldn't have to. But yet we all want the rewards of those who do. And that's okay if you don't agree with anything that I'm saying. You have every right to do it how you want to do it. Live your life how you want to live it. But stop expecting to have a life with those that do and put in the work. Because they're just people who are just determined they're just going to be stubborn. And that's okay. That's okay. I don't take it personal. But I've been around long enough to know what works and what doesn't work. So just like many of you, I'm not going to argue my point. I've got a track record. Those who work and have healthy relationships communicate. They pick up the phone. They FaceTime. They take walks together. They go to the beach. They connect. There's so many things that happens with a person when they hear a voice. If I was to really go total nerd on you and just tell you what happens to a man or a woman when they hear a voice that comes into their ear and saying, "Good morning. How was your day?" The nerves that it hits in the brain, the dopamine rush. They feel inspired. They feel appreciated. They feel wanted and desired because you made the effort to pick up the damn phone and make a call. But many of you don't, because you know you've got something on the back burner. And then when the back burner burns your ass, you won't admit it that it was you. You'll once again, it was saying something that somebody else didn't do. And then the cycle repeats itself over and over and over and over. Now, are there some men who can put in better efforts? Absolutely. Are there some women who can put in better efforts? Absolutely. But ladies and gentlemen, in many cases, it's not them, it's you. Many of you are not putting in your work. You're doing it half-assed, just like that marketing I was doing. And I got checked on it, rightfully so. And although I felt I told the truth as to what really happened, that's still no excuse. There's no excuse at all. Because the truth be told, I should have just waited if I was so tired and come back fresh and done it the right way. But I did, but I didn't. I went ahead and did it half-assed, but wanting exceptional results. And so thank God I was checked. I was given a wake-up call. So for many of you tuning in, I hope that this is a wake-up call to you. Because I get people who call me, "Ron, are you talking to me?" I'm talking to everybody. If I need to talk to one person, particularly, then I will pick up the phone and call them. I don't do subliminals and all that BS. I'm a grown-ass man. When I need to speak to you, I'm going to speak to you, not via text. I'm going to call you like a mature adult. I'm busy. Okay, well then great. Let's talk when you're not busy. I'm going to talk to you. Ladies and gentlemen, we can do better. Ladies and gentlemen, we make a lot of this harder than it has to be. Dating and relationship in and of itself takes work. but the type of work you put into it starts with you and only you. Because without you and putting the work in, see, then you can't properly discern what needs to happen so that you can go through 1, 2, 3 people to get to the right person. And it doesn't have to take 6 months with the wrong person, another 6 months with the wrong person. You can find the person who wasn't for you within the course of a conversation before the first date, because you know the proper questions to ask. You know the proper ad to put out there for yourself if you're online dating. So it doesn't matter. But far too many are worrying about the haters in your life and all those snakes that are crawling around, all this other bullshit that really, if you spent more time focusing on winning, it doesn't matter. You don't ever hear Ronnie complain about haters. I don't. Do I have them? Probably. But I'm too busy focused on growing myself. I'm too focusing on adding value to the lives of others to worry about those people. I really am. But I think of the things that take our attention from what we need to so that we can show up in the proper way in dating and relationships. And then we wonder why shit just continues to go wrong over and over and over and over and over again. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm just sharing with you some things that I just hope will add some value from my own personal lesson. And just in terms of marketing and how it translates into dating and relationships. Now, I can also, as you know, as a certified sex coach, I can relate this to sex as well. But we'll save that for another episode. So ask yourself, how are you showing up in dating and your relationship? And I'm sure for many of you, if you're honest with yourself, you know you're not showing up in the way that you should. And you know what? I'll go so far as to say that if you feel that your partner isn't showing up in the way they should, and you know that you've communicated to them, this is what you're looking for, then there's nothing wrong with having a conversation, not via text, with a phone call, sitting down person to person, kneecap to kneecap, belly button to belly button. I don't care if it's a walk in the park, dinner, cigar, drink, whatever, glass of water. Sit down and talk and let this person know they're not showing up in the way you know they could or have in the past. This is what healthy communication is about. And if they're honest with themselves, they'll reflect and they'll say, hey, you know what, you're right. Or maybe they may inform you that they're not showing up in that way because they're no longer interested. And then you have a decision to make. But first, start with you. How are you showing up? They may just be meeting your energy that you don't think you are showing, but chances are you may just as well be. You are, in all cases. So again, this was not a planned episode, but I was inspired to do so because it was a good reminder for me that this is something that I needed to stay on top of, because you value your time and I value your time too. But what I did in my early marketing showed that I didn't. And I got checked for it, and I'm thankful for that. So in closing, I hope that in some form or fashion that I've reached out to you and in some way checked you and hoping that, you adjust accordingly. Because I don't want you to lose that person. If this is the person you really are into and you can see yourself with, I want you to win in that space. I really do. I want you to continue to smile. I want you to believe that you can have freedom in a relationship. I want you to be the one who you can still be yourself and all of yourself in your relationship. It's not something exclusively reserved for single people. You can have that in a relationship. But don't forget the work that's involved for you to do so that you can have that. So, with that being said, I want to thank my sponsors, Balance with Tanya J. and Ronnie and Yashika Dating Discussions. And again, a thank you to that incredible individual that helped me and corrected me when I needed to in my efforts to reach out to you and you wonderful people. So to you and each and every one of you, reach out. If there's something that I said that touched you, you can reach me at resultswithronnie@gmail.com. That's resultswithronnie@gmail.com. You can also, again, listen and subscribe to the podcast at mrrelationshipman.com. So there is so much that we can learn from each other. Trust me, there's so much you can learn from me. And I hope that you pivot accordingly, you don't take it personal, and you move forward to the space that you are meant to be in with that person. So, hey, and I also hope that you like the background music that I have. Very different songs here. I just wanted to add this little flavor to it, and hoping that it helps the message go down just a little bit smoother. My name is Ronnie Walker, Master Coach of Exceptional Relationships and Exceptional Sex. And I thank you for your time. I thank you for your support. And just know that I believe in relationships, exceptional dating, exceptional relationships, and exceptional sex. And until again, thank you, and keep believing that you can meet that person you want in your life. Until next time.